Take first question over here in the second row, second seat.
Hi, Coach. Hadi Aguiar from ESPN Brazil. I know a win is a win and the series tied, but how concerned is it for you that your team has been leading this series for just 1 minute and 56 seconds?
Everything that's already happened doesn't matter other than the score of the series. And so we got to move forward. There's a lot of things we have to do better. We realize that. I think we've lost, at least by the scoreboard, 6 out of 8 or 7 out of 8 quarters. And so we're playing a great team. And so we've got to make adjustments, and we got to play better.
Tim, here on the left.
Reynolds with the AP. Rick, along the lines of things that don't matter, so I apologize, but you've been in Indianapolis.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. At least I apologized first. You've been in Indianapolis before this tenure. And like you said, when you guys won the East and 49 other states, it's just basketball. Does the energy with the game feel different this time as opposed to your first couple of times here, just because of this is a very good team right now, because of Caitlin, because of what the Fever have done? Does it just seem like it's gone to even a new degree of energy, just the love affair this city, this state has with the sport?
Perhaps. Yeah, I think you're making a valid point about the Fever and Caitlin being here, and both teams are teams that are working their way up and getting better, and so the level of interest is high. We've always had great fans here. It's always been. This is the third time I've been here. I was here as an assistant coach for 3 years with Larry in the late 90s. I was a head coach for 4 years in the early 2000s, and then went to Dallas for 13 years, and then came back. And so this is my 4th year in the second stint, and this has been a different kind of endeavor because it turned into a pretty significant rebuild. But the fans have stayed with us through the rebuild. The trade for Tyrese and Buddy Hield, 3.5 years ago, was something that sparked a re-interest in the franchise, and things have gone from there. So, but if you're talking about pure basketball, I say both fan bases are really exceptional that way. I think Indiana's reputation, because of Hoosiers, because of Bob Knight and Indiana University, and the history that this franchise has with the ABA teams and all that, and one prior finals appearance, it's a big deal.
Joe, up front.
A couple of Tyrese questions for you. He was limping noticeably after game 2, and I know he was out there at practice today, but is he hurt in any way? And then, assuming that he plays, which I'm sure he will, is there anything that you want to see from him that you haven't seen in games 1 and 2?
Well, at this time of year, I don't know if anybody's feeling perfect. Joe, how do you feel? You feel all right?
It's been a long time on the road.
Yeah. So he practiced, and he went through everything. I know he has some discomfort. He feels it, but each day it's getting better. I don't think you're going to hear him making a big deal out of it. This is the time of year where it just doesn't get any better than this. The atmosphere, the interest, the opportunity, coming back and being at home. I mean, there's just so much to be excited about. So, we got a couple guys that are, slightly under the weather, but I don't think anything's going to keep these guys from playing in the game.
Jamal, next question up front.
When you evaluated Tyrese is saying in the last couple of series, a lot of pressure. Teams face guarding him, trying to take him out of the game, the Cavs and Knicks. Are there similarities when you sort of evaluate the way that the Thunder have tried to approach that? And, do you feel like he can draw from the previous 2 series, the way he sort of broke out of that for this one?
Yeah, there are similarities. The difference is Oklahoma has more people. to throw at a great player, and really at both of our all-stars. I mean, they can throw different. They can throw bigger, smaller, medium guys at Tyrese and at Pascal, and so it's one of their strengths. And so we've gone through these situations many times, not only during the playoffs but during the regular season, not just this season but prior seasons. And so we're going to have to adjust and create better situations. We're going to have to be better.
Over here, Vince.
Rick, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. Miles, since he's been in this league, his name has been in trade rumors about how he would fit as a missing piece to other franchises' puzzles. How have you seen him sort of block that out through the years, and what has he meant to you through this playoff run as people have kind of discovered how important he is to the franchise and how good he actually is?
Yeah, Miles is a professional, and he's extremely loyal, and he has a great ability to focus on what's important. And so over the years, I think all players that are really good players at some time or other likely have their name involved in trade rumors, whether it's leaked by another team, whether it's somebody that's just throwing stuff on the wall, creating content, whatever it is. And I've just really admired his loyalty to the franchise, his ability to focus on what's important to him and his family, and to keep soldiering on, So, I haven't heard his name in rumors lately, so I don't know what you're talking about, unless you're talking about free agency, but, we're not going to get into any of that. I mean, that's a fine. So I'm going to avoid that. But Miles is a special player, and he's a guy that's very important to us.
Alvaro, final question in the middle.
Alvaro Martinez Ritmo. Coaches spend a lot of time prepping their teams not to commit turnovers. But your team is very adept at, once committing a turnover, minimizing the cost of it. As a coach, when did you begin to pick up the value of that, and if your philosophy's changed over the years about minimizing the cost once you commit the turnover?
Yeah, I mean, some of our turnovers have been so violently bad that Oklahoma hasn't even had a chance to catch the ball. So, and look, there's some merit to doing that and not having a live ball situation. Live ball situations are the worst for every team in the league. And look, there are a lot of symptoms of high turnovers. Usually it's disruptive defense along with probably poor spacing and other things. So, you try to address those things as best as we can. Tyrese has been historically great with ball security, and this team that we're playing now presents unprecedented challenges because they've been turning everybody over through the entire playoffs. So, look, we're going to have to have really great spatial awareness with everything that we're doing. You can't play too careful against Oklahoma, or otherwise you'll never get a basket. You've got to be aggressive, and there are going to be some mistakes, but our bounce back ability from mistakes is really key, and our response, and certainly we want to avoid those mishaps as much as possible.
Thank you, Coach.